Okay, at least Nikita gave a reply. We will start with the discussion which we were having we can say a few minutes back, a few hours back. So I'll just share my PPT. So please confirm whether I am audible. Quickly confirm whether I am audible and my screen is visible to you. Okay. I know this is the last session, but still we'll see few more things uh, regarding this space Rn. Okay, and after this we will conclude this tutorial. Okay, so that at least up to definition part you will not be having any we can say you will not be having any query to understand the definition of vector space. Okay, till that part only I'll discuss in this session. Okay, let's see now. mm, okay, now I think screen is visible in full screen mode. What we were discussing is we were understanding what this Rn space is. Okay, this slide I have illustrated to you in the last few minutes of the first lecture. Okay, so R1, R2, R3 and R4. Okay, and in such order Rn is the space, okay, which is very important to understand vector space. Okay, and obviously we have seen n tuple, that is ordered n tuple is a sequence of n real numbers, and a tuple we can say is ordered list of elements. Okay, so these few lines are very necessary to understand uh, space Rn in very much detail, and this slide only you will be understanding what actually Rn means. Okay, so let us consider three vectors. Let's say v, u and w. Okay, these three vectors are having some components in them. Let's say v1, v2 are the components of vector v, uh, u1, u2 and u3 are the components of vector u, and w1, w2 up to wn, that is this w vector is having, or we can say it is a n tuple. Okay, now uh, if we say vector v is having two components. Okay, vector v is having two components, that is, okay, that is it is two tuple. Okay, two tuple list, ordered list, we can say two tuple ordered list. Okay, so v, in other words we can say v is ordered, v is ordered list of real numbers which are and it is having two components. V is ordered list of two components, or v is ordered list of uh, two real numbers. V is ordered list of two real numbers. Then in case of u, it is having three tuple. Okay, it is having three tuple, so we can say w is ordered, sorry, u is ordered list of three components. Okay, u is ordered list of how much components? Three components. Okay, similarly w is ordered list of how many components are there? N components. Okay, w is ordered list of n components. And what do you mean by ordered list? The components which are occurring in vector v, u and w must be in the same order always, as specified by this notation, as specified by this notation. So v2 should not come, we can say, ahead of v1. Okay, so v1 v2, likewise u1 u2 u3, and then w1 w2 up to wn. Since it is very difficult to visualize n dimensions, that's why question mark has been put there. Okay, so we don't have to visualize that, but we just need to visualize or imagine two tuple and three tuple, which we have already done, okay, in the last lecture. Okay, now what is the statement that I am making? Please listen very carefully. Okay, so if now till now we know that V has two components, v1 v2. U has three components, which are we can say ordered components or ordered list of real numbers. Okay, and W has n components. Now uh, I will say that let us consider the first case, that is vector V. Okay, so what I'll say, V belongs to R2. Okay, this is my statement. V belongs to space R2. Okay, why I can say this? Why I can say this? Since R2 is set of all two tuples. Oh, please listen very carefully. R2 is set of all two tuples. Okay, what do you mean by all two tuples? Just now in paint application in last lecture I have explained you. Generally we take xy axis as showing only first quadrant. Okay, but it is going to infinite now, because it is having uh, infinite number of elements, or infinite number of elements either on positive and negative side of both the axes can be represented using that xy axis. Okay, using those x and y axis. Okay, now here R2 is nothing but xy axis. Okay, R2 space is nothing but infinite xy axis. Okay, so it is, we can say, it is a set of all two tuples, all two tuples. It is a set of all two tuples. Let's say minus 2, uh, minus infinity to plus infinity. Okay, for both on both the axes, x and y axis. Okay, so out of which we have only taken two components. Okay, specifically we have taken two components, which are v1 and v2. Okay, we have specifically taken two components, which are v1 and v2. Okay, and these are these components are represented using vector v. So can I say that since R2 is set of all two tuples and V is just one of them, what I'm saying, since R2 is a set of all two tuples and vector V is just one of them, is just one, we can say, one example, or we can say one component of out of all the set. Okay, so V must be in R2. That's why V must be in R2. In other words, V belongs to R2. In other words, V belongs to R2. If you have understood this, please put in chat box, because this understanding is very much important to understand vector space. If you have understood this, okay, please put in chat box. And if this is understood, definition will be understood, then I have already told you the sequence. If vector space is understood, subspaces, bases, dimensions, definitions, and their examples will be understood. Because we cannot directly shift to examples or definition. That's why I am giving all this background. Please understand, try to understand. Please put in chat box whether you have understood this point. Am I audible to you, students? Am I audible, dear students? I was facing some network issue. Please confirm. Hello. Hello. Am I audible? Okay. I was having some technical issue. That's why we lost a few minutes. Okay. So I will again share my screen. Okay. So please tell me, have you understood this point? That V belongs to R2. Have you understood this point? How we can say that V belongs to R2? Okay, because R2 is a set of all two tuples, and out of which one set is V1, V2. Okay, and it is represented by vector V. So we can say that V is, okay, please confirm. We can say that V is just one of, since V is just one of the all sets, okay, one set of all the sets, okay, so one component of that set, hence we can say that V must be in R2. Okay, V must be in R2. Okay, please confirm in chat box whether you have understood this point. Similarly, in case of U, uh, in case of U, these U1, U2 and U3, okay, these are the components of vector U, okay, and since R3 is all set of, since R3 is all set of, or we can say R3 is set of all three tuple, R3 is set of all three tuples, we can say that U is just one of them, and hence U belongs to R3. U belongs to R3, or in other words, U must be in R3. Vector U must be in R3. Similarly, the case with vector W is also there. Okay, since vector W is having n elements, okay, or n components, and n tuple has obviously, or n tuple is, this n tuple is a set of, or Rn is a set of all n tuples. We can say that W is belonging to Rn. W is belonging to Rn, and that's why the statement is there. Rn is the set of all n tuples of real numbers, and this is the, we can say, basic concept of Rn. This is the basic concept of Rn. Now, please tell me whether you have understood this concept of Rn. Again, our lecture is on, I think, direct Monday. Okay, so if you have understood, please let me know, because there is much more gap between the lectures. Okay, thank you, Amol. Then we can then shift to next slide. Okay, some few notes are there. If you are not able to understand these notes, no problem. There is no as such problem. But if you have understood completely what that Rn concept is, then you must be, or you will be able to understand this slide also. Okay, And n tuple can be, now please see that in general, please remember, n can have any value. This is the concept, we can say. For understanding this slide, n can have any value. Okay, n can have any value. So what value n can have? Let's say in first case, that is note 1, an n tuple x1 x2 up to xn can be viewed as a point in Rn, can be viewed as point in Rn. So in example, left hand side diagram is showing you how to view that n tuple as a point. Okay, that n tuple as a point. So in this case, okay, in this case, to represent a point, how many components you will be requiring? Please tell me. Please put in chat box. How many points or how many components you will be requiring to represent a point? Hmm? Can you tell me, please? How many points we will require? To understand the first note, what they have given, an n tuple can be viewed as a point in Rn with the x size as its coordinates. With x size as its coordinates. X size means what? X size means what? The I is general term. X1, x2 up to xn can be considered as x size. Okay. So this n tuple can be viewed as a point in Rn. Yes, correct. Okay, so only two components we will require to represent the point. So in this case, n will be what? N will be 2. Correct. N will be 2. Let's say we are representing a vector. Okay. In second case, we that n tuple can be viewed as, okay. N tuple means Rn. Please note it down. N tuple can be used in place of Rn. Rn can be used in place of n tuple. Okay, because Rn, what is Rn we have already discussed. Okay, now n tuple can be viewed as a vector. Okay, vector x, x1 x2 up to xn. But in this case, to represent a vector, what we need? We need only magnitude and direction. And using two coordinates or two components, again we can represent a vector. That is, we can efficiently, or two components are sufficient to represent a vector, that is direction and its, we can say, magnitude. Okay, that's why this n tuple can be viewed. That's why I have already told you to imagine the things. Okay, because that n tuple can be viewed as anything you want, depending on the situation, we can say, depending on the application. Okay, depending on the application, we can visualize that n tuple or space Rn. In other words, we can say space Rn can be viewed geometrically, in any sense. Whatever values you have to put, you can put into that, and that Rn will be representing some, we can say, quantity in that space Rn. Okay. Okay, now next is a vector on the plane. Obviously, they have put the definition of vector. Vector on the plane is expressed geometrically by directed line segment whose initial point is the origin and whose terminal point is the point x1 comma x2. Hmm? So this is very general basic definition of vector. Okay, so now please, apart from this slide and previous slide, from these two slides, can I say, since we are eventually, we want to understand vector space, that's why I'm making this statement. Can you please, or will you be agree if I made a statement like vectors are ordered list of components? If are you getting this statement? Vectors are ordered list of components. Vectors are what? Ordered list of components. See, in previous slide, I will take this previous slide. V1, vector V was having V1 and V2, and as I said you, V2 cannot come ahead of V1. Okay, because because the basic definition is telling you, a basic concept is telling you, the tuple is an ordered list. The tuple is an ordered list, and if you are saying it as a two tuple, then it should be defined in such a way, that is v1 comma v2. Or if you are defining it as v2 comma v1, then it should remain like this only, v2 comma v1. Okay, that's why vectors are nothing but components. Vectors, v1 and v2 are the components of vector v. Okay, and they are in ordered list. These components are in ordered list. Similarly is the case with u1, u2 and u3. Okay, so till now, the are you getting this? Okay, please put in chat box that vectors are ordered list of components. Vectors are what? Ordered list of components. Please put in chat box. I know this is the last session, but you have to get used to stay online or in front of your mobile or PC till this time. Every day you will be having such to such time. Lectures will be running to this time only. Okay. So we are going to then define two components, or sorry, two vectors for further understanding. Let's say vector u and vector v are the two vectors in Rn. If they are in Rn, they belong to Rn. Please now consider that if I am saying any vector is in Rn, then it is belonging to Rn. Okay, and belonging to Rn means its components are set. Its components are subset of the set V, set Rn. Okay, set Rn. Now there are few operations. Okay, there are few operations on vector spaces. There are few operations on vector spaces which are called standard operation in vector space or in Rn. Okay, these are standard operations. Now we have to identify which operations are important. Okay, which operations are important. So out of these 2 to 3 operations, only 2 operations are very important. The first one, in this slide, the first one is equality. That is, when we will say vector u is equal to vector v. When we will say vector u is equal to vector v, if and only if u1 equal to v1, u2 equal to v2, up to similarly up to un equal to vn. If these components are individual components are equal to each other, then and then only we will say vector v is equal to vector u. Okay, or vector u is equal to vector v. And now if you are interested, I'll tell these two we can say operations which are very very important to tell whether any space is called as vector space or not. Okay, whether any space is called vector space or not. Okay, so for understanding the definition, you should know all the details of these two operations. Which are those two operations? Vector addition and scalar multiplication. Please understand. After this, after understanding these two operations, we will stop, but please understand these two operations since they are very much important. Oh, okay, these operations are very important because on these two operations only you are going to say or checking checking the results of two operations. Okay, on two subsets of a space Rn, you are going to say whether the obtained, obviously after operating you will get some result. Okay, after performing operation you will get some result, and depending on the condition of that result you will say whether that new result, the obtained result, is the subset of the space Rn or not. And if it is not subset, then we cannot say the given set is vector space. Okay, so while solving the examples you will come to know what I am telling right now, but to solve the example we need to check these two conditions. First is vector addition and second is scalar multiplication. Okay, first one is u plus v, vector addition, the sum of u and v. U plus v will should be equal to, now in case of equality, what we have done, we have checked individual component. In this case, what we are doing, we are adding individual components. Okay, u1 plus v1 comma u2 plus v2 up to un plus vn. Okay, this is the vector addition. Please just we can say please just make a note how vector addition is going to be performed. Okay, now depending on the result, how to remark or how to put a remark of the obtained result, that we will see in the definition part. Okay, definition of vector space. But till for time being, what you can do, u plus v is performed in this way, that you have to just remember. The next is scalar multiplication. Okay, the next is scalar multiplication, and by graphical method I am going to show you how to do this vector addition and scalar multiplication. Okay, so geometrically we are going to see this. Okay, the next is scalar multiplication. The scalar multiple of u by c. Scalar multiplication means what? The scalar multiple of u by c. Now u is the vector in this case, as previously shown here, u is a vector in Rn. Okay, and if we multiply that vector u by some scalar c, then what is the result? That result is shown in front on the screen, that cu1 comma cu2 up to cun, because n components u1 comma u2 comma up to un, these are the n components in vector u. So corresponding scalar multiples will be cu1 comma cu2 up to cun. Okay, so these are the very basic operations, vector addition and scalar multiplication. Okay, now the note is very important here. Sum of two vectors and scalar multiple of vector in Rn are called standard operations in Rn. These two operations are called standard operations. Okay, in Rn. Okay, so depending on the results of these two operations only, we are going to check whether given space is a vector space or not. Okay, given space is a vector space or not. So in different examples will be which we will be solving, from them you will be able to understand how, what vector space and its examples. So first point will be clear. Okay, from your first unit syllabus. Now obviously these are the again two further operations are there. Okay, what this zero vector is bracket, something different has come, let it be. Difference between u and v. Okay, difference between u and v. If you know scalar multiplication, now if what you will say, sir, how we have defined minus v. Okay, till now you were knowing that is the u and v vectors. Okay, so how does that minus v is coming? Okay, how that minus v is coming? It is a result of scalar multiplication. Please don't worry, it is a result of scalar multiplication given by the scalar multiplication operation. If I put c is equal to minus 1, then what will happen? In scalar multiplication, if I put c is equal to minus 1, okay, so what will happen then? So u will become minus u, that is the thing. U will become minus 2 and u will become minus u. Now what do you mean by minus then? Okay, so this minus u vector will be under minus u minus v, anything will be understood more while checking the axioms for the definition of vector space. But for now, please understand that minus 1 is coming from the scalar multiple c if we put c is equal to minus 1. Okay, so u minus v will be equal to u plus minus 1 of v, minus 1 of v. So this is the difference operation. This is the difference operation, that is difference between u and v, and it is given by u1 minus v1, u2 minus v2 up to un minus vn up to un minus vn. And one another important vector which every vector space has, please remember, zero vector is the vector which every vector space is having that zero vector. Okay, so that zero vector is present in, we can say, zero vector is present in every vector space. That is the final statement. If zero vector is not there, then we cannot say that vectors given space is a vector space. Please remember. Okay, so while again I am telling you, while seeing the definition, you will be getting clear with all these vector or all these points. Okay, so these are just very random observations from matrices. Okay, vector u can be represented either in row form or either in column form. Okay, so if we want to represent that vector u as in column form, in row form, firstly we'll see, then what it will be looking like. It will be looking like u is equal to u1 u2 up to un. Okay, un u2 up to un. Okay, now if we want to represent that vector u as a column vector, then it will be represented like this. Okay, it will be represented like this: u1 u2 up to un, u1 u2 up to un. Now the statement given below is the operations of matrix addition and scalar multiplication generate the same results as corresponding vector operations. Okay, operations of matrix addition and scalar multiplication generate the same results as the corresponding vector operations, because what we have already said that uh, vectors are ordered list of components. That's why this state we can make this statement. Okay, vectors are what? Ordered list of components. Okay, now vector addition and scalar multiplication. Just now we have seen what is vector addition and what is scalar multiplication, but they have given in terms of row matrix and column matrix only. That is the thing. But to visualize the geometry of vector addition and scalar multiplication, we will go to the next slides. Okay, so previous slide was having nothing as such. Okay, only the vector addition and scalar multiplication operations were applied on row matrix and column matrix. Okay, so this is very basic and simple thing to understand. But when we are understanding what is vector addition, we have to just look what is the geometrical way to add two vectors. Okay, what is the geometrical way to add two vectors? Okay, if I am adding, let's say in this slide I am adding two vectors. One is vector u, which is in we can say yellow color, and one is vector v, which is in, let's say, blue color. Okay, so if we want to add geometrically these two vectors, then the representations will be like this. Okay, so firstly, vector, let's say v is this. Okay, I am pointing by mouse. This is v vector. Okay, and this we can check 3 2. Oh, okay, 3 2 is the these are the two components. So by the, already I have told you how to interpret this 3 2. Okay, so 3 is the distance, 3 unit distance from the origin in the x direction, and 2 units distance from that point in y direction, from that point in y direction, and hence we are getting 3 2 vector as this. Okay, 3 2 vector as this. Similarly, in case of 1 4. Okay, similarly in case of 1 4, what we are doing, we are going 1 unit in x direction and 4 units in y direction, 4 units in y direction, and that's why we are coming to this point, tip of this vector. Okay, we are coming to at tip of this vector. So these two vectors u and v, this is vector u and this is vector v. Now you must have studied in childhood mathematics that we can say we will add these two vectors by using parallelogram law, by using parallelogram law. Now what that parallelogram law tells us, we can parallelly project this second vector, this yellow vector, from the tip of the first vector. Okay, so same vector will be projected on this vector, on this v vector. So u vector is projected on this v vector. Okay, and we will join the point of their result. We will join the point of the result to the origin. Okay, and hence we will get u plus v. So this is geometrical meaning of vector addition. This is what geometrical meaning of vector addition. So vector u and vector v will be added in such manner geometrically. Okay, now if we go from u to v, okay, if we go from u to v, and if we uh, reverse this case, okay, firstly if we put v and then go to u, okay, so we are going to use or project, we can say, vector v on vector u, then also we will be reaching at the same point. Okay, then also we will be reaching at the same point. Is this point clear to you? That is parallelogram law of vector addition. Please put in chat box. Okay, please put, dear students, are you getting this vector addition? Because what since these two operations are very important operations, that's why we are studying the geometrical meaning of these two operations. Are you getting? Please tell me. Yes. Now the next part is now, so by this okay, so what, in both the ways we come to the same point, that is v plus u, these vectors, resultant vectors, we come to the tip of this resultant vector. Okay, so if you closely observe this, so both the results are same. So in this way we can say that vector addition is commutative. In this way we can say that vector addition is commutative, because v plus u, that is obviously these are the two vectors, so v bar plus u bar is equal to u bar plus v bar. Okay, so these are the this is the one of many axiom which need to be satisfied to say any vectors on any space as a vector space. Okay, so till now we have seen zero vector, vector addition. Okay, we have seen zero vector will be again understood in detail in next slides. Okay, so this was all about your vector addition. Okay, so next slide is about scalar multiplication. So the two operations which are important operations, one is your vector addition and second is your scalar multiplication. These two operations are very important operations, out of which we have seen vector addition. Now second is your scalar multiplication. Now when what is the need or what is the significance of using the word scalar? Okay, so in this slide we will understand this. Okay, let's say we are having a vector, let's say we are having a vector 1 2. Okay, 1 2, okay, represented by this capital V and vector and arrow on top of it, and 1 and 2 are its components. Okay, so if we multiply this vector V by 2, then what will happen? Okay, if we multiply this vector V by 2, then it, the result will be you are seeing the result will be 2 and 4. The result will be what? 2 and 4. So we will say that the original vector is scaled up. The original vector is scaled up, that is that's why we are using that quantity, or we can say the number, that's why we are saying that number as scalar. Okay, since it is scaling your original vector, we are saying it scalar, and we are directly performing multiplication operation. That's why we are saying this operation is scalar multiplication. Okay, this operation is what? Scalar multiplication. Now in this case, if I multiply by this we can say and please remember that scalar c can be any real number. Please remember, any real number. So we can say, if instead of 2, if I'm using let's say -1, then what will happen? you will tell me, okay, that whatever vector we are originally having, that will be inverted, because we were having the vector in this direction. Okay, now it will become -1 -2, -1, okay, -1 in x direction here, okay, and -2 in x in this direction. Okay, so the vector will be exactly inverted. Okay, so vector will be exactly inverted, so it will be like this. Okay, I am pointing by mouse, it will be like this in this direction. So have you understood what is scalar multiplication then? Okay, now these two basic operations we have understood, that is uh, vector addition and scalar multiplication. These results of these two operations are very important in defining the vector space, and to, we can say, to tell or conclude whether given space is vector space or not. Okay, so these are some, we can say, properties of vector addition and scalar multiplication. So in this screen only we have completed the 90% definition of our what definition of our uh, vector space. Okay, if this slide is understood completely, then vector space is very much will be understood in very much detail. Okay, now just we will not go in this slide, but what I want to convey in this at the end of this lecture is, uh, we can say, you have to understand the zero vector. Okay, zero vector. For that, what I'll do, I'll annotate directly, not here, but if, yes, I can annotate here. Okay, what I'll do to give you the what zero vector means, I'll stop this sharing. Okay, we are going to just see what is mean by zero vector. What I'll do, I'll put a whiteboard in front of you so that you join from video systems or video conferencing. If you want to view the please tell me, are you able to view the whiteboard? Please reply in chat box. Then quickly we'll see. And please don't annotate on it. Since you all people are panelists, you are able to draw anything on this whiteboard, but please don't do it. Okay? Yes. I want few more answers. So if they are not able to see the whiteboard, then I'll directly go to the paint. But this application is more comfortable to use. Yes, Siddharth, correct. Now, all boys are responding right now. Okay, okay, let it be. Now, what I'm going to explain you is zero vector. So basically, a zero vector. Zero vector is the vector which is denoted by, let's say, a letter Z, or please remember one small observation. in whatever book, at least Wilbur Strang book, which is the first book in your reference, and you can say, okay, that book is very good book, no problem. So in that book also, whenever you are coming across the zero vector notation, na, they there they have put it as a dark zero, that is bold zero. Okay, so by that there are few more options also. Okay, so you can put it like this and put arrow over the zero, so it is meaning, the meaning of it is, it is a zero vector. Okay, you can also, the one more way is to bold zero. Okay, so bold zero is there. Okay, so in our presentation also we have kept the same notation, that is, if zero is bold, then you will directly say it is a zero vector. Okay, so this is to just identify how to detect a zero vector is there or not. Okay, now zero vector, obviously vector is telling us the information of what, any vector quantity is giving us the information about its magnitude and direction. So zero vector will obviously have what, zero magnitude, and it will not, we cannot say it is having zero direction, but we will say it will not have any direction. Okay, it will not have any direction. So please remember, zero vector is such vector who is not having any magnitude, that is zero magnitude, and and obviously it is not having any direction. So why we are, if it is so, please remember, um, if it is not having any magnitude and direction, so it is not bothering to anyone, correct? It is not making difference in life of its colleagues also, because, and who are the colleagues of zero vector? Zero vector, since zero vector is obviously or compulsorily present in any or every vector space, in every vector space, and since it is not having any magnitude and direction, but then why we are studying it? Okay, then why we are studying it? In the definition of vector space we will understand it, but please remember, it is not having any direction, or we can say, magnitude. Okay, so if I want to represent zero vector, then how will I do? So please tell me, and then we will stop in 5 minutes. Please tell me how we represent, how we can represent a zero vector. Represent means not symbolically, in geometrical meaning I am asking. Geometrically, how we will represent zero vector? Correct, Saurabh. Few more answers I want. Only boys are answering. Any girl, please? Yes, yes, correct. Okay, so if I want to represent what you are saying, which is very correct, if I want to represent, then what I'll do, mm, in, let's say we are in R2. Okay, uh, let's say we are in R2, and it's getting, okay, I'll go to, I'm not familiar with that tool right now, so what I'll do, I'll go to the paint. I think you are able to view the paint screen. Okay, so what I'll do, I'm just trying to represent a zero vector. Okay, so suppose we are in R2, and R2 is represented by this. Okay, this is R2. Then please tell me how we are going to represent. Now, just now you have told that it will be represented using dot. So R2 is having two direct, means it is having two components. Okay, in x direction and in y direction. So in every direction, since we are dealing with zero vector, it will not have any magnitude in any direction. Okay, so since it is directionless, it will not go anywhere, and since it is having zero magnitude, it will be remaining as it is where it was previously. So let's say from origin we can say this is the zero vector. Okay, the dot at the origin will be the zero vector. Okay, and if we go to the vector theory, then what generally we do, if we represent this vector space using some I think we'll say it is as unit vector. Let's say I cap is the unit vector. I cap is the unit vector in let's say j cap in y axis, and in x axis let's say uh, I cap is the unit vector. Okay, so to define zero vector, what we will do, generally what we do, we multiply the vector by its unit vectors. Okay, so the representation will be 0 I cap plus, since it is not having any magnitude, that's why 0 is there, and I cap and j cap are giving the directions. These are the unit vectors which are used to give the directions. Okay, so this will be the representation of zero vector in geometrical way. Okay, and if this is in R3 space, then again there will be addition of one more unit vector, that is k bar, we can say k cap we can say. Okay, so 0 I cap plus 0 j cap plus 0 k cap will be the case in case of R3. Okay, the space R3. Okay, since it is now, let's say in R2, let's say in R2 I am having vector v bar. Okay, vector v bar, and if I am adding this vector v bar with 0, so tell me the result in chat box. What will be the result? Okay, okay, in such case please unmute yourself, and I was hoping that paint window is visible, but it is not visible, so I'll make it visible right now. Okay, so is it visible now? Is it visible now? Okay, so what I was explaining, that I cap is the unit vector in x direction, j cap is the unit vector in y direction. Generally, with the help of unit vectors, we mention the directions. Okay, so since zero vector is having the zero directions, so in space R2, zero vectors representation will be like this. Okay, like this. Okay, now what I'm asking you, that if I'm going to add zero vector, this is, let's say, what I told you, the notation will be bold 0 or dark 0. Okay, this is the notation. Now please tell me, if I'm going to add um, this zero vector in some vector v, which is which belongs to R2. Okay, which belongs to this v vector, v is belonging to R2. Okay, now please tell me, if I add these two vectors, then what will be the result? What will be the result? Since zero vector is added to the vector v in R2, the result will be obviously, but since the, yes, answer is very correct and very easy answer, but it has some geometrical interpretation. Please remember, it has some geometrical interpretation. So please remember that. And since you are able to, or with considering the fact that you are answering the vector, giving the answer as vector v, so whatever I am going to say about the zero vector, you will be you will agree in further lectures, because since you are giving the answer as v, you are agree to the fact that there exists a zero vector. there exists a zero vector. Okay, and exist means what? Every vector space should have a zero vector, and why that condition is necessary, we will definitely look at it when in the next lecture, when we will see the definition of vector space. Okay, so are you getting the concept of zero vector? Please tell, and then we will stop. Okay, yes. So till now what we have seen, we have seen with the important operations, with vector addition and scalar multiplication, and we have seen what do you mean by space Rn. You can start to read uh, your book Gilbert Strang. You can read, you can start to read. Okay, so I'll be forming Google group very soon, after commencing this completing this lecture, and then we will form Google group, and in that Google group I'll post the soft copy, okay, of the book Gilbert Strang, okay, linear algebra applications. Okay, is it fine? So PPTs will be provided once the further lectures. PPT I will not be providing, but for that I'll be requiring to edit the PPTs, my whole lecture PPTs every day. Yes, Nikita, there are some conditions. These conditions, that is the results obtained by these two operations. Depending on those results, we are going to comment whether the space is vector space or not. Okay, so these two conditions should be satisfied. Okay, so some now since you have asked, I'll just put in 1 or 2 minutes that whatever the results, okay, whatever the results coming after the operating after performing the operations of vector addition and scalar multiplication, those results should be included or inclusive by that space Rn. If these results are getting, or if these results are not part of or not a subset of space Rn, then we say that given space is not a vector space. Okay, given space is not a vector space. This is the condition. Okay, so with this, we are concluding today's since it was a tutorial, I am saying tutorial, but um, it was taken as a lecture. Okay, so since we have not discussed much more things to solve the examples, we just continued our discussion which we were having at the lecture. Okay, so about your attendance, what can I do? Let me see the participant. Hmm. Otherwise all are present, no problem. Is Pooja Golande have opted this subject? Pooja, are you there? Pooja Golande. एक दोन चार पाच सहा अकरा. So 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and okay, okay. I think Pooja has not opted this subject, but still she is here. I don't know. Okay. Okay, so I'll be signing off. Okay, we'll meet, I think, on Monday. I'm not remembering the next lecture when we are having, but I think it is on Monday. So we'll be continuing to discuss the definition in that lecture, and very important lecture, because we are going to see the examples. Examples mean not sums. We are not going to solve, but how to analyze any vector space based on these operations, that is vector addition and scalar multiplication, along with the importance of zero vector. Okay, along with the importance of zero vector. Okay, so thank you, dear students. You are available till this time, so it is not quite habitual to you to sit in front of your laptop or mobile for a long day. So thank you for joining this session. Okay, I'll be signing off.